Okay, here in this video, we're going to talk about inequalities. Now, in letter A, yes, state the integers that satisfy this. Now, لما يكون عندي سؤال زي هذا, and we do have questions like these, معناها قال لي اكتب النمبرز اللي شنو اللي يقدر في inequality يعني, تمام؟ First thing I do, let's make some space here. أنا عندي -2. This one is not included. معناها x is bigger than -2. معناها نكتب 2 ما نكتبهاش, نكتب له -1 بعدين 0 بعدين 1 and 2, then 3, then 4, and then 5. Now, why did I write 5 here? Because 5 is included in the inequality. 5 هنا قال لي equal 5. Here smaller than and or equal 5. Here 5 is included. Huh? بالنسبة 5. لكن -2 here قال لي it's not included. معناها it's bigger than -2. معناها it's not included. Okay? That's the idea of this question. So you will have to write these integers. تمام؟ هذا بالنسبة للquestion, the first question in inequalities. تمام؟ Let's move on to the next one. Sorry. Illustrate the inequality on the number line. معناها حط على number line. أول حاجة نرسم number line. We should have a number line for you guys. Okay. The -2 نحطها من هنا. وال5 نحطها هنا. So I'm going to say this is -2 and 5. You have questions like these. First thing, I put the circles on top of them. أنا لأنها not هذه included معناها the circle will be closed. Okay. So close. And the other one, the 5 is not included, so the circle will be open. And we just match them with a line like this. It means the x is between the -2 and 5. 5 is not included, but -2 is included. That's the idea for this question. عرفنا كيف نحط inequality على number. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, next question here. Solve this inequalities. تمام. Solving, it means خلي الاكس وحدها. That's the idea of solving. And they might ask you to put it on a number line. لكن let's do solving first. Solving عندي هنا x plus 3 bigger than 12. تمام؟ معناها بخلي الاكس وحدها هناخذ positive 3. I'll take it to the other side here. It's going to be -3. معناها تكون هنا -3. يعني نعمل inequality معاملة شنو؟ equation. Same idea. تمام؟ هنا -3 معناها x here. X. And then the inequality sign, this, with an 12 minus 3 تطلع كم؟ تطلع 9. And this is the answer of this question. So this is solved. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. Guys, if you have any problems with the steps I did, just tell me, okay? I'll try to explain it. Okay? Can you repeat your question? I didn't. Please repeat the question, okay? Okay, we're going to solve this. Same steps. We need to find or put the x alone. That's the idea. And an x divided by 2, معناها هنشيل 2 to the other side. It's going to be multiplied here by 2 because it's divided. Well, some people say multiply both sides by 2. Same idea. خلاص هنا I'm going to multiply the 5 by 2 and remove the 2 from the side اللي هو هذا. خلاص هتجد x كده هي and then the sign of the inequality, and then 5 times 2 equals 10. That's the idea. Rahul, can you repeat your question? I didn't hear you, okay? That's the idea of this inequality. Now let's move on to the next one.
Mister,
Yes.
I said, you know, when you have your end results, x of infinity.
When you have your end results,
don't you have to flip the inequality signs at the end? Yani, like flip it.
Which one are you talking about? This one.
Like x bigger than 10, it would be like opposite. X over 9 is bigger than 9.
Listen. I think I got your question. When do you flip the inequality sign? That's your question. We flip the inequality sign
Yep.
if we multiply or divide by a negative number only. Okay, but in this situation, we didn't do that here. So in this situation here, 5 divide, x divide 2 is smaller than 5, right? So the first step I did was
Yeah.
take this or multiply this to the other side. It means I multiplied both sides by 2, huh? So I multiply here by 2 and multiply here by 2. When I multiply by a positive number, I don't flip the sign. Like when I might multiply by a negative number or divide by a negative number, I'm gonna flip the sign. And because I multiplied, I'm gonna remove
In
this.
any step.
Yes, in any step, yeah. This one becomes 10. 10, and this one is x.
Okay.
And because the number I multiplied with was positive, the sign doesn't change. Okay? The flipping of the sign happens when you have when you multiply or divide by a negative number. Okay. Let's check the last one. I think this one has the steps that you're talking about. Here we have 4 multiplied by this bracket and then bigger than or equal to 7. First step I do is take the 4 to the other side because it's multiplied. I'm going to take it by dividing. Okay, that's the first step. Now, focus on this step. 4, I'm going to take it by dividing here, or I can multiply these inside. It will give me the same answer. Okay, I can do expanding first and then work out the other parts, or I can take it from the beginning as dividing. Okay, so I'm going to divide by 4 here. Divide by 4 here, whatever step you like to do. Divide by 4. Here, the 4 goes with a 4. So I have 5 minus 2x. 5 minus 2x. And the inequality sign. Here I divided by 4. It's not negative, so the inequality sign stays the same. And here I have 7 over 4. I can do it in decimals. Here 1.75. I can do it in decimals. I can use decimals here, or I can leave it as a fraction. 7 divided 4 is 1 over 1.7. Now, next step is what? I'm going to take the 5 to the other side. It's positive 5. And share the other side, have to get negative 5. Okay? So it's going to be negative 5. Now, what did I leave here? I left negative 2x. And same inequality sign, because I didn't multiply or divide by a negative number in this thing. Now I do this, it's going to be negative. Okay. This time plus 1.75, it's going to be 3.25 and 3.25. Now, what do I have to do now? I want to get rid of the negative 2. يعني أنا بدي أخلص من negative 2. The negative 2 is multiplied by x. مضروبة في x صح؟ معناها I'm going to take it by dividing. يعني I divide both sides on negative 2. كيف ما قلت لكم step هذه هي نفسها إن نشيل أو divide both sides. Same idea. تمام؟ أنا اللي بتخلص من negative 2 معناها I'm going to divide by negative 2 here and divide by negative 2 here. تمام؟ Because I divided by a negative number, هي الstep هذه يا رغد. Because I divided by a negative number, I have to flip the sign. That's the idea. Okay? Because I divided by a negative number here. هتعدي هذه مع هذه. هتيجي x وحدها. This time I flip the sign. And then I divide this by using the calculator. Divide negative 2 equals 1.625. 1.625. You get the idea? So this step is important because I divided by negative 2. It means I have to flip the sign. That's the idea of this question. And this is the whole idea of the report. Okay. If you have any problems, tell me about it so we can talk about the question now. Okay. If you don't, let's move on to the next question. Okay, let's move on. Next question.
Sir,
Yes, Abdul.
So you don't multiply 4 by 5 into x?
As here, expand.
Yeah.
It will give you
Yeah.
the same answer. Yeah, it will give you the same answer.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it will give you the same answer. You want me to do it in expanding and show you? Or you get the idea?
No, it's okay.
Yes, you just
Yeah.
expand inside. This one's going to be 20. This one's going to be negative 8x. And then 20, you take it to the other side by negative 20. So 7 minus 20 is going to be minus 3. And then at the end, you're going to divide minus 3 over negative 8. Minus 3. Right. Here, 20 is going to be minus 20 minus 3. I'm sorry. Yes, this one's going to be minus 3. Right.
Um,
And then minus 3. No, not minus 3. I'm sorry. Minus 13. Minus 13. Plus 20 minus 7. Minus 13. Okay. So minus 13, you divide it by minus 8. We'll give you the same answer, which is 1.625. Okay. And for this step, you have to flip the signs. That's the idea. Okay. So does the inequality act like an equal sign? Yeah. The inequality sign is the same as an equal sign. So you have to go right and left until you leave the variable alone. But you have to follow this rule. When you divide or multiply by a negative number, you have to flip the sign. That's it. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. This is inequality questions. We finish with inequalities. That's the whole idea of inequalities. They have nothing else. Here we're going to talk about geometry, measures, converting between metric units. This one is easy. How to turn kilometers into meters. For example, kilometers, you have to know the measurements in the each kilometer equals 1,000 meters. If we turn kilometers into meters, we multiply by 1,000. If we go the opposite way, we divide by 1,000. Same idea here. K means 1,000. So grams to kilograms, it means we're going to divide by 1,000. Kilograms to grams, we multiply by 1,000. Liters and milliliters, same idea. It's 1,000. So liters equals 10,000 milliliters. So milliliters to liters, we divide by 1,000. Big to small, we multiply by 1,000. Okay, that's the idea. Let's check this question here. Let's check this question. Okay, here we have. Let's talk about this question. Let's take it here. John is 1.6 meters tall. His sister is 143 centimeters tall. How much taller is John than his sister? The first step we talked about when you have questions that have units. The first step you do is what? You have to make them the same. Yes, you have to make them the same. So you have to turn one of them to the other. For example, this one is centimeters. You can do this in centimeters. And we know that each meter equals 100 centimeters. معنى كل متر في 100 سنتيمتر. اللي بنحول هذه إلى سنتيمتر معنى نضربها في 100. 1.6, yes.
It's 160.
Then you multiply it by 100.
Wait, no, I just had like a guess.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But so it's going to be 160 centimeters. Now we need to compare them. How much taller is John than his sister? So
You
what do we
subtract
do?
them.
We subtract them. Yes, minus 143. That's it. Easy. And it's going to be 17 centimeters. Remember the units. Okay, that's the idea for this question. Let's move on to the next one. Compound shapes made. I'm sorry. Yeah, sometimes they don't give you a question. Yeah, same. They don't give you a question. They tell you the topics that you're supposed to know. For example, compound shapes made from rectangles, triangles, circles, semicircles, and other polygons, regular and irregular. It means you need to know all of these things and how to deal with them. So finding the perimeter and area of these shapes is important. So you need to know how to deal with them. Because they can't bring you questions like these here. They involve drawings and stuff, but they are coming in the IGs. Okay? Finding area of parallelogram, knowing the area of parallelogram, base and height, possibility of other length or area, trapezium. So you need to know the area and perimeter rules of all the shapes. اللي هن شنو triangles اللي هي half base times height, parallelograms اللي هي base times height, square shapes اللي هي rectangles و squares اللي هي width times length, trapezium which is a plus b divided 2 multiplied by the height. You need to know these things. Circles, the area is pi r squared, the perimeter is 2 pi r. You're supposed to know these things in the geometry section. Okay. Now let's move on. You need to
Mister.
understand. Yeah.
Wait, how do you find the area of the parallelogram again?
A parallelogram looks like this, right? So it has a base and a height. You multiply the base by the height. That's it. So a parallelogram basically is like a triangle. I'm sorry, not a triangle. It's like a square. You multiply width by length. Here we multiply base by height. But focus, we don't use this line. This is 2, for example, this is 8, and this is 3. We never use this line here. We use the base and the height only. Okay?
8 times 2.
Yes, that's like 8 times 2. Okay. So you need to know these rules. Okay, they are important. Cubes, cuboid, regular tetrahedron, square base pyramids, triangular prisms. You need to be
What about the area of a
the area of the triangle.
I think she
trapezium?
said trapezium.
Trapezium. Okay. A trapezium looks like this. Look. Regular shape. It has a smaller base and a bigger base. The small base is called A. The bigger one is called B. And it has height in the middle. You find this line like this all the time. Okay? It's called the heights. What do? You add the bases together, A plus B. Okay? And then you divide them, multiplied by H, and then divide the rest by 2. So A plus B divide 2 times H, like this. That's the area of the trapezium. Okay. These things you need to know them, memorize them. Okay, memorize them. They're easy. You just have to go through them. Okay. These ones you studied in year 7 and year 8, and you're supposed to know them. Now let's move on. We have the shapes, as we said, 2D shapes. Recognize nets of shapes 12. You have to know the nets, the shapes of the nets. I didn't see a question that asks about drawing a net or recognizing a net, but they are putting it in the IGs. So you're supposed to imagine when you close a net, what does it give you? That's the idea. For example, if I give you a shape like this. Sorry. And ask you, what is the 3D solid of this shape net? When you close it, what do you get? That's the question. What do you think?
Square base pyramid.
Yes, it's a square base pyramid because it has a square in the middle as a base. And when you close these here, they will meet together here to make a square base pyramid. Okay, that's the idea. So you're supposed to know each shape and the shape of the net. Okay, now let's move on. Because this is basic knowledge, we need to know this. Okay? Radius and diameters and the difference between them. We understand circles. We know the parts of circles. We know that the line that goes from the circumference to the other point of the circumference and touches the center, we call it a diameter. Half of it is called a radius. So the whole thing is a diameter. Half of it is a radius. And we said that the line that goes from the circumference to the circumference,
A chord.
yes, without touching the center, is called a chord. Okay. So we need to know these things. Even the line outside is a tangent. Didn't see that a lot, but you need to know that. Yeah.
Mister,
Yes.
it says in that question, calculate the volume and surface area. So like, do we write like the area itself and then 2 pi r?
Yes,
that what
because
they
we
want?
talked about the area of a circle here. Calculate the volume and surface area of triangular prisms. That means you find, I'll give you an example. Because this is, for example, this is a triangular prism, right? let's say this is 4, this is the height is 2, this is the height, okay? And this one is 10, for example. You're supposed to find the area of the cross section. What's the cross section of the shape?
Like the first phase.
The first shape, yeah, this is the cross section. A cross section means the shape starts with the shape and ends with it at the same time. So it starts as a triangle, ends as a triangle. You see it?
We're finding the volume.
We want to find the area first. Yeah, we're finding the volume. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
find the area of the cross section and then multiply it by the length. That's the idea of finding the volume of triangular prisms. So we find the area of the cross section multiplied by the length. I didn't see that in any question, to be honest. But maybe they will do it. So you have to know that the area of cross section multiplied by the length gives you the volume, okay, of prisms. Okay? Now this one is done here. Solve problem involving perimeter area, surface area, volume. For example, let's take a look at this question. The surface area of a cube is 292 centimeters squared. What's the volume of the cube? Questions like that do come in the test. Yeah. So you're supposed to find out what's the length of the cube, because all of them have the same length. So you need to find the line. What is it? Okay. Now, the surface area means all of the 6 shapes or all of the 6 faces have an area of 292. So first you're trying to find the area of one of them. So you're trying to find the area of one of the faces because there are 6. So what do you do? First thing.
So wait, I have a question. Do I divide that by 6 and then I get like 2 of them and multiply them together?
That's the idea, yeah. Divided by 6 to find what? To find the area of one face. So I'm going to divide this by 6. It will give me
48.6.
38. 48.6, right? So
48.
Good. Centimeter. Now this is an area, still an area, right? So it's going to be centimeter square. Now, what's 48.6? It's the area of this box or the square, I'm sorry. Now, how can I find the length of the square? If the area of the square is 48.6, how can I find the length?
Do you divide it by 2?
What's the area? What's the area of a square?
The width times the length.
So this times this will give me this, right? What's x times
Yeah.
x?
Do you square root?
Yeah, square root. Good.
Squared.
So x times x is x squared equals 48.6, right?
So you put it under the square root?
Square root, yes, that's it. So x equals what? 48.6 square root. 6.97 something, right?
6.9, yeah.
48.6,
But don't they want the volume? Not like the
yeah,
width?
still. You have to go down to the length and then go back to the volume. Now this one is 6.9, right? When we round it, it's going to be 7. But it's okay. You can use 6.9 and work with it, okay? Now we found the x. How do we find the volume? What's the volume of a cube?
The width times the length times the height.
The height.
Yes. So we multiplied this 3 times. So we're going to do it power of 3. That's it. We multiply it by itself 3 times. Do you understand? We will get the volume. You get the idea?
Yes.
That's
Mister,
the idea. Yes.
how do you know that all sides are equal? Or is that just a rule for this?
That's a cube. All sides are equal.
Oh, yeah.
It's a cube, okay? So if it's a cube, first thing we do, we divide on 6 because all faces are equal. And then we put under the square root because all sides are equal. And then we multiply the by each other, okay?
Okay.
Good. Let's move on. All of these, you took them in year 7. It's like just a revision, okay? And let's move on.
What's the difference between a chord and a sector, and a segment?
Yes, a segment is an area. The chord is the line. For example, this is the circle, right? Do you see this line?
Yes. Yes.
This line is the chord. Okay.
Then what is the diameter?
The diameter is a line that touches the center while going from the circumference to the circumference. But the chord doesn't touch the center.
Oh,
Okay. Now, the segment is the area that the chord covers. For example, this one. This is the segment. Okay. It's created by a chord. So the segment,
oh, the chord is the line.
yes, the chord is the line. The segment is the area that the chord creates. That's the idea.
So if it highlights the area, I would write
Ah.
segment.
Yes. If it's only the line, it's a chord. And the other one,
Okay.
which looks like this, we call it
Sector.
a sector. Yes, because it's touching the center, and it's supposed to be the area like this. Okay, so focus on them because they always bring them, and they're easy questions like 3 marks. You're not supposed to lose them. Okay. Good. Let's move on. We're trying to finish. We're trying. Yes, we're trying to finish. Most of them are topics, not questions. Okay. Let's move on. Next question. Here we have 23 of them. This is the measurements. So we're talking measurements.
المفروض يتماس 2 pages instead.
Yeah. We're gonna finish them. Okay, here we have some measurements, converting between metric units of measure of area and volume. Okay. Here we have 1 centimeter square equals 100 millimeter cube. I think that's a mistake. Because this one's supposed to be 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. So 1 centimeter square equals 10 millimeters square, not cube. I think that's a mistake. Yeah. That's a
Mister,
square.
do you just memorize these?
No, don't. I'll show you how to do it. Okay. Listen, we're turning these into each other, right? So let me show you how to do them very fast. Cover this. Never memorize. Never. You should always understand how to do it. We understand that 1 kilometer equals what? How many?
1,000 meters.
Yes, equals 1,000 meters. And 1 meter equals
100 centimeters.
100 centimeters. And 1 centimeter equals
10
10
millimeters.
We understand this, right?
Yes.
Now we're going to convert using the square and the cube measurements, okay? It's so easy. To turn kilometers into meters, because kilometers are big, we're going to multiply by 1,000. If we turn meters into kilometers, we're going to divide by 1,000, right? So we're going to follow the same steps here. For example, if I'm turning 3 kilometers squared, okay, into meters squared.
Just multiply by 1,000, that's it.
Wait. Now, a kilometer into meter, we multiply by 1,000, right? Because it's big to small. So we're going to multiply by 1,000, right? We write it here, multiply 1,000. That's the first step. We understand this step. Now we take a look at the number that we have. We will notice that this is squared. That means we're going to take the square and put it here. That's the idea. And if it's cubed, we're going to take the cube and put it here. Easy?
Yes.
So you just have to understand these, the basics ones.
Mister, I have a question.
Yes.
In the calculator, do I put 3 squared times 1,000
No,
squared?
3, only 3. Only 3.
Why?
It's 3 kilometers square.
But like it has power too.
No, the power of 2 is on the kilometers, not the 3. Remember the 3x squared? We talked about the 3x squared. The square is on the x, not on the 3. Same idea here. The square is on the kilometers, not the 3. Okay, so we just take the 3, put it in the machine, multiplied by this, it will give me the answer of this question. You get the idea? Same
Wait,
idea with cube ones.
When I see it squared, on like the kilometers. That means I have to like put a power of 2.
Yes, I have to put the one I understand here with the power of 2. Yes, if it's cubed, I put cube.
Okay.
That's it. You just
So-
have to understand
so-
this.
So do I write 3 million?
Yes, the answer will be 3 million because this is a million, and the answer will be 3 million. Yes. You get the idea? So
Yes.
basically, just understand these ones because they are the basic of turning measurements into each other. Okay, and then use it here. If I'm turning from big one to smaller ones, I'm gonna multiply. If I'm doing the opposite, I'm gonna divide. Okay, focus on this. Let's move on to the next question. Map scales, of course, map scales. We talked about this a lot. Map scale is 1 to 50,000. As I said before, if the map scale doesn't have a unit, it means it's in centimeters. Okay, how far is it from A to B in real life, given A and B on the map? Now, this is not a question. Okay, that's an example because they have to give you something. For example, this is the scale. They gave you the scale. You know that each centimeter on the map equals 50,000 centimeters on real life. And then how far is it A from B? In the question, you'll have point A here and point B. Okay, there are 2 points like this. Okay. First step you do, you connect them and then use a ruler to measure the distance. But let's say the distance is 5 centimeters. You measure it with a ruler, okay? Because the question will be like this. And then, because 1 centimeter on the map equals 50,000 centimeters in real life, how many centimeters on the map will equal, in real life will equal 5 centimeters? Here we're going to use the X method. Same idea. 1 to 50. 5 to what? Here you put the map thing. Huh? And here you put real life. Same idea. 1.
Just multiply.
Yeah. So here 1.
Mister, how did you get the 5 though?
As I said, this is not a question. This is
Ruler.
an idea.
Measured.
And the question should be like this. Yeah.
Oh,
They
so
should
you're just
give
like
you.
using your logic. Man.
Yeah, they should give you a point, 2 points to measure with a ruler. Okay. And then you put the 50,000 here. And then you just do cross multiplying and multiply and then divide by 1. It will give you that. Okay? That's the idea. Okay. You get it? So the question will give you 2 points. You're going to measure the distance and then use the scale to find the real life distance. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. As I said, these are the specifications. They don't give you like a full question. They give you an idea. What's the bearing from A to B? Same idea. They will give you 2 points. We talked about this last year. They will give you 2 points. Point A, point B. Like this. A and B. And they will tell you what's the bearing between them. A and B. The first step we do is what in bearing? We match the points. And then we draw the north line. Talked about this. After drawing the north line, what do? We find the angle that they need. Now, they need the bearing of A from B. It means they need the angle here. Focus on this. From B. So first thing I do, I find from A, for example, let's say this is 100 and maybe 100. 100, okay? This is A, from A. They want from B. Focus on the questions, okay, when you answer it. It's from B. It means I'm going to take this 100 and add 180 to it. So I'm going to say 100 plus 100. It's going to be 300. Okay? That's the idea of this question. Because they need from B, and the angle from B is too big to measure. That's why I found from A and then added 180. Okay? You understand the idea? And present the real test, we should measure the ruler.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's the idea of bearing. So you're supposed to understand bearing questions. Same idea here. Bearing of C from D is 0.40. Bearing of C from E is 260. Mark C on the map. These questions, I saw them a lot in, yes, we have 3 minutes, hang on. I saw them a lot in the achievement, not achievements, the higher and the foundation level. But let me explain it very fast, okay?
So they're not gonna bring it in our test.
I can't tell because the specifications is for you, it's supposed to be for you, but I don't know why they're here.
Actually, Mister, after you finish this one, can you go back to the past one? I wasn't focusing.
It's the same idea, it's bearing. We'll do it here, okay? It's the same idea.
Okay.
So bearing of C from D is 0.40. So what do I do? First, I make a point which is like this. Mark C on the map, given D and E. Here they have to give you D and E. They will give you 2 points, okay? Let's imagine this is D, sorry. And this is E. Can't be that sure, so I can't put the points directly. So this is D and this is E. As they said, given D and E, they will give you these 2 points. And you're supposed to find C, that's it. First thing they said, bearing of C from D is 0.40. So from D is going to be 0.40. So what do? You come to D, you make a north line like this, okay? And then you find the angle 40. You find the angle 40. How do you find the angle? You put the protractor here, point on point, line on line. Now the protractor will look like this. Show you. When you put it, it's going to be like this. Point on point, and the 0 is here, okay? So you start with 0, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. You come to the 40, you put the point like this, and then you match the line like this, okay? I know it's confusing. Anyways, after you find the 40 is here, for example. You match it with a line, okay? Like this. That's the first line we did. Now you continue the question. Bearing of C from E is 260. So from E, we need 260. So we come to E, we make a north line like this. Same idea. We say that the north line, when you make it longer, it's going to be 180, right? This is 180. You subtract them, 260 minus 180, what's left? As I said, this question is not, I don't think they will bring these questions. This one is a high level question. It's going to be 80, so I'm missing an 80. So an 80 should be over, this is a 90, so 80 is here, okay? And then what do? You match this point with the 80 and you move on until they cross each other. And this is the place of point C. As I said, that's an example. This is the place of point C, okay? You don't have to understand this a lot. Just make sure that you know how to do bearing. That's it, okay? Now, let's move on. We have less than a minute. I'm going to close the video and then we will start again with another.
Mister,
We will go back to it.
okay.